The independent report into Edinburgh Crisis found that it did not put survivors first, and that the chief executive, a trans woman, failed to behave professionally or understand the limits of her authority.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little more serious and actually really disgusting. So with that, thanks so much for liking, subscribing, supporting my channel. It's growing like mad. I really do appreciate you so much. But today it's going to be pretty serious. So I'm going to talk about the Edinburgh Rape Crisis Centre and how there was a male actually at the head. I'm not laughing, I'm crying really, at the head of this crisis center for women. It's shocking to me. And women were complaining, women got actually let go. It's so crazy, the story. If you don't know it, sit down, because it's actually insane. So I just want to get right into it because I want to have enough time to talk about how insane this whole thing is. So with that, I'm going to bring up this video that I found.
The charity Rape Crisis Scotland has said it will pause the referral of rape survivors to a support service in Edinburgh after a review found the centre had failed to protect women-only spaces. The independent report into Edinburgh Rape Crisis found that it did not put survivors first, and that the chief executive, a trans woman, failed to behave professionally or understand the limits of her authority. A reporter in Edinburgh, Joanne Macaulay, has the story.
So here comes the story. Can you even believe that? There were women saying, this woman, Roz, she got let go of by the trans woman because she was not going along with the narrative, which it's going to blow your mind. Why is there a male running a women's rape crisis center? It's unbelievable to me because she's a trans woman. Oh, it's so incredibly disgusting. So this woman who's going to talk now, Ross, she got let go of because she wouldn't go along with the narrative. And it's like, no, why are there not females? Females don't want to talk to a man after they've been actually sexually assaulted by a male. I don't care how you identify. It's disgusting and wrong. So I'm sorry. I'm totally cutting it off, but I can't. I'm so blown away by this whole story. So here we go. Here's the actual story.
In May, Ros Adams, who worked at the Edinburgh Rape Crisis Centre, won a constructive dismissal case against her former employers. She said she'd been unfairly treated for believing that people using the support service should know the sex of their support worker. The tribunal found that the chief executive at the time, Wadhwa, who's a trans woman, had conducted what was described as a heresy hunt against Ros Adams and appeared to believe she was transphobic. The tribunal ruled in Ros Adams' favour.
Sexual violence is about bodies, and sexual violence is perpetrated by 98 to 99% male people. So male-bodied male people who have been socialised as male, and so we need to respect that when people are traumatised by that, their senses are highly, highly alert to the person in front of them.
After the tribunal, Rape Crisis Scotland ordered an independent inquiry into how the Edinburgh Centre had been run. Its conclusions were published today, and it found that Edinburgh Rape Crisis failed to put survivors first, failed to protect women-only spaces. The chief executive failed to behave professionally or understand the limits of authority, and the actions of some staff had a detrimental impact on some women.
How did they get away with this? I think it was years that this was going on, that this trans woman, a male, identifying as a female, was the head of the Rape Crisis Centre. I can't say it loud enough. And it is shocking to me. That's what I'm talking about with this trans rights, and then calling Roz transphobic. Wait a minute. What about misogyny? What about these women who have actually been sexually assaulted by males? Roz just said it right there, like 98% are being assaulted by males, okay? And then you have to go see a man who identifies as a woman, and you're supposed to be okay with that. The whole thing is so out of control, so misogynistic. I am just so disgusted by the transgender community for letting this happen. I'm telling you, hold on, people. Hold on. It's coming. This is the beginning of a new era right here. These disingenuous trans women are completely insane. Also, they are the ones who are creating this nonsense. I'm telling you, no actual real trans woman would ever feel comfortable running a woman's rape crisis center. You don't have any background in that. I don't care how you identify. You are not a female. You don't even understand what that even means. Like, what? I know I'm yelling because I'm so disgusted. And they finally caught Wadhwa, okay? And so it goes on a little bit more here.
Rape Crisis Scotland says it's paused referrals to the Edinburgh Centre, although people can still self-refer. In a statement, Rape Crisis Scotland said it was extremely concerned that the Edinburgh Centre had failed to provide women-only spaces, and that the needs of survivors should be respected at every rape crisis centre. Edinburgh Rape Crisis say they recognise they got things wrong and they're sorry, and they're committed to implementing the recommendations of the report. Joanne Macaulay reporting, Scotland.
Now they're sorry. They're sorry. So many women were actually hurt by this and might not ever, they didn't have anywhere to go after being raped. They had nowhere to go. Why they can't go to that space? They don't want to talk to a male. So what about all the women who went to use that space and didn't get to use that space and are dealing with their trauma today? You think a little "we're sorry" is going to cure all this? No, it isn't. Too late. Too late. You destroyed women's lives. You destroyed women who are fired from there, who had to go along with the charades. Wait till I show you this. So it's just upsetting beyond belief. I'm mad. I'm just so mad. So then the Times UK released this statement right here on September 13th, and it says, trans boss of rape crisis center quits, should be fired and put in jail after damning criticism. Report commissioned by the Rape Crisis Scotland found that under Wadhwa's leadership, there were no safe spaces at Edinburgh Rape Crisis Centre for women. What? This is so crazy, you guys. A trans activist who led a rape crisis center has quit after a damning report found the service damaged, and it's in quotes. How about just damaged survivors and failed to protect women and girls in its care? Wadhwa's departure was confirmed by the board of Edinburgh Rape Crisis Centre after the chief executive was found to have failed to set professional standards of behaviour and did not understand the limits of her role's authority. Wadhwa was previously identified by an employment judge as the invisible hand behind a heresy hunt against staff espousing gender critical views. I'm tired of those words, gender critical. Okay? You mean a woman's views. Because women were like, no, we don't want a male running this place. We want females running this place. And so Wadhwa got pissed and fired Roz Adams, and then also went after a bunch of other people on there. And we're calling these women bigots, and we're telling these people that you're going to have to relearn your trauma. And what? This, I mean, I really feel like it's South Park on some level. And I feel like if you're not seeing what I'm seeing, what you are, I know you are, you're not dummies. There's a war on women's spaces. But like I said earlier, this is a crack. This is the crack that we need, that people are starting to come back to some form of common sense. As a transsexual, okay, and as a female, this is disgusting. This has nothing to do with trans rights. This has everything to do with misogyny. This has everything to do with some male overriding women's rights, okay? And it really is hurting actual trans people. No doubt in my mind. So that was from the Times, and I'm going to actually put a link to this so you can finish reading it all. But I want to also go to this article in Spiked by this author. I think her name is Jo Barish. I hope I'm not pronouncing her name wrong, but she did a really great article here, and I'll put a link to that as well. Jo Bartosh. And she's a journalist, and she wrote a really great article here in Spiked. And I'm just going to pick a couple things that I wanted to discuss with you. The trans activist who destroyed a rape crisis center. Wadhwa and his position to punish desperate women who refused to toe the party line on gender ideology. It literally is that. This dude was running the rape crisis center and was pissed at women, and he had, and this person is calling them he because they don't get respect. Nope, you don't. Nope, sorry. You destroyed a woman's total space. Wadhwa had been on leave since June, just weeks after an employment tribunal named him as the invisible hand behind a heresy hunt against former ERCC employee Roz Adams. Because Roz was questioning, okay, Wadhwa, what's going on here? We can't have this. We need actual women running this space. This began when Adams asked for clarification about the center's policy on gender self-identification after a rape survivor requested to be seen by a woman. For the crime of advocating for a service user, Adams was investigated, labeled a transphobe, and effectively hounded out of her job. The tribunal found in her favor. The case highlighted serious failings that were subsequently picked up on in the RCS's report, including that ERCC turned away rape survivors who were suspected of being gender critical. There's that term again. It was revealed that desperate women who got in touch to ask about single-sex services were classed as bigots, and their communications were stored in a file called, here it comes, hate mail. I mean, this is an actual woman organization being run by a man, and all the women are being put in a hate mail file because they were questioning, why is a male running a women's rape crisis center? So Wadhwa has never hidden his views on the gender debate. In a 2021 podcast, he announced that bigoted, gender critical rape survivors in need of support should be prepared to be challenged on their views when accessing services. As RCS's report noted, Wadhwa saw firing people is a way of ensuring the staff in the organization fully complied with her definitions of trans inclusion. This is why trans women cannot be included in women's spaces, especially rape spaces. Okay? Because it's not the same thing. You have no experience in the women's space. Women have just been sexually assaulted by a man. The last thing they want to be around is a man. And I don't care how you dress, how you identify, you are still a male. And it is so incredibly misogynistic and disrespectful for you. I am so glad that you are going down. Where is this person? Okay? The destructive influence of Wadhwa has left the center in disarray. Nevertheless, he is unlikely to be standing in the job center queue. He is currently a director at Green Transport Consultancy, which describes itself as a kind company that believes in equity for all. So why didn't you just work there in the first place? Why'd you have to work at the Rape Crisis Center? Also, I noticed that this person was working at other centers, women's centers. I'll put all the links to this so you can read all the articles. I'm going to leave you with this. And especially I'm going to speak to the trans community and to specifically trans women who think they are women. Okay? Because not all trans women are like this. Why are you doing this? What part of you are not a woman are you missing? And what part of having respect for women's spaces are you missing? And when you do stuff like this, you are not only destroying women's rights, but you are destroying the rights that many of us, including people before me, have fought so that we could just walk the world and so that we could just find peace with ourselves. But you've now destroyed everything that we've built because people don't like us anymore. And I don't blame them. I actually don't blame them. So to the trans women out there who feel like you should be included in women's spaces, you don't get to be included unless you're invited in that space. And why don't you just have a little more respect for women? Because if you have a little more respect for women, they will respect you back. So thanks for watching. I totally appreciate you so much. This one made me so mad and angry. I know I came off like a crazy person, but it made me crazy. It literally made me crazy. But I'm going to tell you, there's a crack and it's happening, and people are seeing the false narrative that's happening around this, okay? So I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Thank you for helping me build a platform to create the space to talk about these very, very, very important subjects. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.